Welcome to the Algebra Chapter 2 review. This is found on page 122 of your textbook. The first problem that we have asks us to graph the two numbers on a number line and then write two inequalities. So let's look at the first one. The first one we have is negative 3.9 and a negative 4.3. In my number line that I'm going to create, I'm going to go by halves. So let's say that this is a negative 3. This would be a negative 3.5, negative 4, negative 4.5, negative 5. And we don't have to go that far. And so to locate negative 3.9, here's negative 3.5. And so it would be approximately right here. So there's a negative 3.9. So I've done that one. And now a negative 4.3 would be a negative 4. It wouldn't quite be to the half, but maybe right here. Now we have to write two inequalities. Well, which one is greater? Well, negative 3.9 is greater than negative 4.3. And then we have to write another equality where we could write negative 4.3 is less than negative 3.9. Here's number 4, negative 0.2 and a negative 0.25. So on my number line, here's a negative 0.2. And then this would be negative 2.1, negative 2.2, negative 2.3, negative 0.24, and negative 0.25 would be right here. And so if I was going to plot these points, I'd put a spot there and one here. Now we need to write two inequalities. So the larger number is always on the right. So you could say negative 0.2 is greater than negative 0.25. And we could write negative 0.25 is less than a negative 0.2. On this next problem, before I graph them, I'm going to turn them into a decimal. So a negative 4 divided by 7 gives me a negative 0.57 rounded to the hundredths. And since this is the absolute value of, it'll just be 0.57. And remember, the absolute value means distance to 0. On the other side, we've got 5 divided by 11. That's going to give us 0.45 repeating. And the negative lies outside, so that'll be negative 0.45. And now to set up the graph, I'd start with 0 here. And then I would say that this would be 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, 0.5, 0.6, and these are all negative. And then going in the other direction, 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, 0.5, and these are positive. So let's look at locating this one. I guess I got to go 0.6. And this is a positive 0.57, so that would be about somewhere like right there. And then the other one is a negative 0.45, so right here. Now we have to write two inequalities. And so to write our inequalities, we don't want to use the decimals. We want to use these original ones. And so which one is the largest one? It's the one furthest on the right. So it would be this one. So we would write the absolute value of negative 4 over 7 is greater than the negative absolute value of 5 over 11. And then the other way we can write it is the negative absolute value of 5 over 11 is less than the absolute value of negative 4 over 7. Problem 8 is asking us to find the sum, and we can think back to the card game. This is a red card and a red card, and when they're both red, our answer is going to be red or negative, and we add them together. That would give us negative 40. On number 10, we take it 1 point at a time from left to right. A 9 plus a negative 10. Well, this would be, 9 would be a black card, negative 10 would be a red card. And so when they're different colors, we subtract them. 10 minus 9 is 1, and we take the sign of the largest number. And so 10 is larger than 9, and it's got a negative. Now we have negative 1 plus a negative 3. And once again, these would both be red cards. When they're both red, our answer is negative. We add them together, it would be negative 4. 12, we have to find the sum of all these mixed numbers. And the first thing that I would do is I would change them into improper fractions. The first one would be 4 times 2, which is 8, plus 3 is 11 fourths, a negative 11 fourths, plus 8 times 5 is 40, plus 3 would be 43 eighths, plus, and this should be a negative 4.5. We'll slip that in there. Plus 2 times 4, which is 8, plus 9 would be 9 halves. And I'm going to put that negative at the top. And now in order to add or subtract, we have to make sure we have common denominators. So this 4, we need to turn that into an 8. So we're going to times everything by 2. That would give us a negative 22 eighths plus 43 eighths plus, and this one we have to times by 4. So it would be 8 as our denominator. 9 times 4 is 36, negative 36. Looking at the first two, a negative 22 plus a positive 43, we're going to subtract those. And that gives us a negative, or a positive, I'm sorry, positive 21. So we have 21 eighths plus a negative 36 eighths. And once again, this is a black and a red, so we're going to subtract them. 36 minus 21 gives us 15 eighths, and it's a negative 15 eighths since our larger number is negative. And then we have to change that into a mixed number. 8 goes into 15 one time. What's left over? 7. The answer is a negative 1 7/8. Number 14, they're asking us to evaluate the expression, which is solve basically. We're going to start at the front. We've got 5 minus 11, so we're going to look right here. 5 subtract 11, that would give us a negative 6 minus a negative 6. And we know that we can change this subtract to add the opposite, which is negative 6, plus the opposite of negative 6, which is positive 6. Negative 6 plus 6 is 0. Number 16, a negative 5.7 plus 3.1 minus 8.6. Looking at the first part, we've got a negative and a positive. So this would be a red card.